Understanding escalation of violence is a key component to developing your self-defense, situational awareness. Welcome, everybody. This is Self-Defense for Nomads, Lesson 4. In our previous lesson, it occurred to me how important it is to address the topic of escalation of violence. Now, of course, if we can, we want to de-escalate the level of violence. But let's really talk about how Wing Chun shines as a methodology of dealing with escalation of violence. Now, this is such a huge topic that it's very challenging for me to sort of address this in one video, simply because it's so vast. I mean, there's whole countries that are dealing with this issue of escalation of violence, right? You've got the arms race, the nuclear arms race, etc. So wish me luck in addressing this in just one video, and we may have to return to this subject matter in a future lesson. So, escalation of violence. Wing Chun deals with this subject so wonderfully because our stance, our structure, our posture is not an aggressive stance. In other words, our structure isn't like this, ready to fight. In fact, our structure looks very passive and is just pulling everything together. Now, if you're not familiar with what I'm talking about, just go to cfuz.com. I've got tons of lessons on how to develop your structure, your posture, how to strengthen your posture, and also how to use your posture in a self-defense manner. So we're jumping right to it. Our Wing Chun posture is very passive. However, we always have our structure available for them to run into. Again, check out the previous lesson if you don't quite understand what I'm talking about. We allow them to run into an elbow. We allow them to run into a knee, or we allow them to run into a fist or a palm, or even our fingers, right? We allow them to come in to this. So really, the whole psychology is so perfect, because they are really attacking themselves on us. Now, the sociology and the psychology behind escalation of violence is huge, and mostly because it's a two-way street. Whenever you add the power of two, boy, it exponentiates the complexity. Now, what Wing Chun is going to do is sort of simplify that complexity by, well, it's really interesting. Think about it. Kindness. Really think about that word. Kindness is free. And I couldn't think of a more kind posture. People taking advantage of your kindness, well, that only hurts them now, doesn't it? See, this is such a beautiful, not philosophy, but psychology, human psychology, in regards to escalation of violence. Now, the two-way street is this silent warrior that you embody. You don't have to display the warrior. You just have to embody the warrior spirit. Now, boy, this video could go on for hours, and I hope that you guys have some questions regarding escalation of violence. How do we deal with the escalation of violence? How do we de-escalate violence? How do we develop that silent, sort of aggressive warrior spirit within ourselves, but without displaying it and raising that escalation of violence? Again, the Wing Chun system deals so wonderfully with this by not having an outwardly aggressive posture, rather a very compressed, some would call this sort of a fetal position. I call it a standing fetal position, but also moving. It moves around. You want to flow with the go. You don't want to just sort of tuck in like a turtle. So, all right, guys. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below. And again, I go into great detail, many lessons on grounding, developing your grounding, developing your posture. Now, you may never get into a physical confrontation in your life. It's just like my fire extinguisher. I've just never used the thing, but it's just great to have, right? It's good to have. Develop these skill sets because they also allow you to develop your fitness and to strengthen your health, and also even to deal with pain. So this Wing Chun practice not only is an ideal method of self-defense, but just a wonderful, practical, sustainable method of fitness that anyone can do, and then turn around and use it to in self-defense if you needed to, right? Okay, so thanks for bearing with me on this. Again, this is such a huge topic, escalation of violence. Man. All right, I'll see you next video.